Alrighty, November 19th. So I traded futures. I've also gone into Forex a little bit. I traded ES and SPY, ES and NAS, or ES and NQ, NAS and SPY. So before this, I just being honest to myself, last week was the end of last week. What's today? Today's Wednesday. So yesterday's trade, Tuesday, and the day before's trade. Yesterday's trade, I lost about 2,400. The day before that, I don't remember. It wasn't a good trade. I will have to say, yesterday's trade was a terrible trade for me because I did not focus on daily bias like a dum dum. It really, really went against the trend like a dum dum. And so, yeah, it makes sense why I lost. Because I did not properly calculate my daily bias. Literally, it's like watching everyone else go right and something in your brain said go left. Dumb, 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 dumb. So, I went back and kind of made sure I put that as priority again, calculating my daily bias, figuring that out. And I did the whole top down look. So I looked at the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, and I wrote it out here to give myself like, okay, so we're bearish essentially. Despite the weekly, we are bearish today. So being bearish, I looked at both ES and NAS. I did, as one can see, I did do the whole SMT divergence, but I really didn't even rely on it, to be honest, because just looking at what market structure was giving, looking at where liquidity draws were, I just went with that flow and really just disregarded SMT divergence as a confluence. I was really looking at break of structure, fair value gap, and just overall price action. So as I normally start, I mark out my Asian market, somewhere over here. Yeah, Asian market, because we're on the 5 minutes, everything's stretched out. Asian market is over here, London market is over here. Never really care what Asian market's doing. Sometimes I just measure like how much of a move it made here, Essentially, London market came, took out Asia. So to me, this is a previous session manipulation with no reversal. So meaning it took it out Asia session, but it did not reverse in the London session. So my expectation was to find a reversal down and a continuation downward for the day. I was cool with this move here because essentially I felt like it was grabbing what I don't really see is like low time frames draws on liquidity. Because I stuck to my bias of it being bearish, I waited. I chose to trade on the ES because there was an SMT that I kind of looked at initially that kind of suggested ES was going to be leading. Or, hold on, let me think for a second. I think, the reason why I chose ES was because when I watched this bullish run at the beginning of market, I noticed that ES did not take out this high as quickly as NASDAQ did. And because my bias is bearish, ES kind of lingered a little bit before it took out this high, which to me was like, okay, ES is saying we're not really going to be up here for long, but we might as well we'll get there, but not as quickly as NASDAQ will. So NASDAQ got up there, and NASDAQ being the more volatile instrument, got up there a lot faster and even reached a high time frame draw right there before reversing. I'm still working on my patience because during this whole time, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, what are we going to reverse? I think my key was when I saw this, what looked, doji candle here. And I was like, okay, we might be getting there. And of course, we started to. So I drew this tiny little fair value gap. I dropped down to the 3 minute and saw that it had gotten tapped into by this green, and I entered here. I ended up entering in on my top step. I did 5 contracts, 5 contracts on MES. So 623 for all 4. So that's about 2,400. I guess I got back what I lost. And yeah, I learned to be patient with this trade. I learned to calculate my daily bias like somebody who's been trading longer than 2 seconds. Yeah. So I focused on that, stuck to my bias. This was actually a good trade. When I hit my first TP, which was Asia, I think this, Asia highs here, I took out 3 contracts and let it ride. It hit my second TP and I got out. So that's where the 600 came out. Usually, not usually, but in the past, I've traded with more ES and Q, just positioned up a lot more. But I'm trying to go slowly because I'm tired of blowing accounts. It doesn't matter like how many I've passed and how many payouts I've had so far. I don't want to keep going through this seesaw, up and down yo-yo effect of just not being consistent. And so part of the consistency is understanding how much risk I'm putting in. Because if I'm over risking, then I'm really over managing. And I feel like part of my lack of consistency in my trades is my inability to de-risk in order to see the trade through. Another thing that I'm also learning is putting my stop losses high. So if I'm going in and like this is where I'm going, before my stop loss used to be right there. And then I'm here like, let me get all that. Unrealistic. Unrealistic. I put my stops kind of just above just above the swing high, the most recent swing high, and then bring it up here. So yeah, this is a 1-to-4 ratio. That's comfortable. Like I'm okay if I get stopped out here because that's a comfortable stop loss. Setting my stop loss like right just the wick alone takes you out, and then you just feel defeated. So right here makes sense. I put the right number of contracts to get the right amount of volume back out to myself. It may not be the thousands that I normally have done in the past, but this keeps me consistent and controlled and allows me to practice my my strategy better. And my biggest issue has been patience, but also risk management. And so I'm learning to really use these because I didn't usually use these positions to calculate realistically what's my stop loss, what's my real risk to reward in this trade. That way I don't become greedy like, we're trying to be like all the way unrealistic, hella unrealistic. This is realistic. Take profit number 1, take profit number 2, be done. And that's exactly what I did today. So essentially I entered at this gray 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, essentially. I don't know what 14 times 5 is at this time. I don't know. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Yeah, definitely an hour here. And then probably another hour. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I entered at 10:45. First TP was hit at 11. Second TP was hit at 12. So from 10 to 12, not bad. Honestly, not bad for 1-to-4 return. Of course, if I was using bigger volume, it would have been bigger money. But the money's not the issue. Again, it's really the money comes after. It's really the strategy and the risk. Like I've been focusing on what I'm abbreviating in my head as SRP, strategy, risk, and psychology. Strategy, I'm getting down a lot better. It's not really an issue. Like a lot of the gurus say, really now it's like figuring out your risk. Psychology, I've definitely worked on that a lot more and it's a lot better, but my risk to reward has always been what's I feel has kicked me out of a lot of these combines. So I'm focusing on de-risking, sticking to my strategy, obviously using psychology to get in and out of these trades. So that was my today trade, and see you.